Some strings are RGB, some are BGR, right? Some are RGB, green, blue, red, okay? The Chinese manufacturers don't have any particular standard, okay? I've actually got two strings of 2801 strip, actually, from a few years back. They're two different colour orders, but they come in the same shipment. Work that one out, don't know. Fix it in your software or in your controller. Either the software will support it or the controller will support it. Just change the colour order. White is purple or some other colour. Typically when you turn your string all white, you'll see one that's just blue or just red or purple or something like that. It means one of the reds or greens or blue LEDs stopped working. Okay? Trust me, most of your visitors during a night, they won't notice it. All right? Or they'll think it's part of your show. Don't stress about it during the show. Fix it the next day. All right? Or fix it the next week. Or like me, I usually leave it till the end of the season. I don't even go back and fix it. Sorry? Yeah, it's what I normally do. And look, it's one of the things I do right at the start of the season. You know, sometime in November, I pull every string out, hook them up, run a test sequence down it, and see what's broken. Because I do. I put them away. I don't fix them. I fix them as I come out. Some pixels will fix themselves because they dry out. Okay. Then you just got to worry about when they get wet again. Okay. Your pixel doesn't light up. It's failed. The LED's dead. The previous pixel may not be passing the data through to the next pixel. Okay? And of course, issue 2 leads to my next slide, which is it just doesn't light, yet the rest of your string doesn't light up. So it could be a broken wire, not unheard of, a bit rare, but not unheard of. Your pixel's dead, or your previous pixel's not passing data. Okay? Your string wires are hot to touch and only red's displayed. And typically you won't display any other colour because there's not enough voltage getting up the string to light up the red, the green or the blue LEDs. Okay? You're just going to have red showing. Remove the power. Don't leave it in that situation, okay? And look for the pixel that's burnt out. They're generally pretty obvious, okay? They're black, they're charred, okay? They're sometimes very simple to find, like that one. Okay? That was actually in my display this year. That was about week 2. We'd had throughout 3 nights of rain, and yeah, that was the result. Didn't even notice it burn out during the show. I looked over at one point, and it was about that far off the end of the string going to the ground. I looked at it and thought, walked over and went, can see that one's burnt. Okay?
And you didn't even notice the string not working?
I didn't, because it was actually on the far side of my tree from where I sit. Some of the other people visiting the show might have noticed that bit of the string wasn't working, but I certainly didn't. And no one commented on it, so... But yeah, so short circuits can do that. Again, if you've got fuses in your pixel strings, and I will support the use of fuses, you won't have that happen, with any luck, if you correctly size your fuses. Put a 10 amp fuse in there, that might still happen. Put a 6 amp fuse in there, it'll probably blow. Okay? Any comments to fuses, Steve?
Not the way to fix it, put a bigger fuse
Yeah,
in.
definitely do not put a bigger fuse in. Okay, so practical exercise. Okay, this string that's lying on the ground here, okay, actually came off my mega tree this year, about week 1 into it. It broke. Everyone's happy to look at it. Okay, I'm going to plug it up. Now this one has a very definite fault. And, sorry? Oh no, I didn't fix it. I didn't fix it on purpose. I did this on purpose. All right. One of the most useful things you can do, this is a current meter, It's in line. Okay, so it's in line with my 5-volt converter. Yep, it's one of the RC car ones. Okay. Now, let me find my output to my string. Here we go. All right. So, first thing I'm going to do is, when I find the 2 ends, Yeah, it's a mess. Now I have, here's the other end. That's 112 pixels. So we've got to do power injection. Now I power inject from each end, okay, because it goes up the tree and comes back down. That's my data end, so I'll plug that one in first. This is how I would normally fault find it. So I'm going to plug that one in, and I'm going to look at my ammeter and go, and in theory, this shouldn't be drawing any current because there's no lights turned on. Well, that's, yeah, okay, one. How much current should I be drawing? Maybe 60 milliamps. I'm drawing 1.95 amps. Do we think we've got a short circuit in there? Okay. I use this string for a very good reason because this is, just as a note, this particular string is now 5 years old, I think, or 6. It's one of the very first pixel strings that come into Australia for use in trees. And it's black for a reason because it's had a lot of seasons out there in the real sun. If I plug the other end in, I'm now drawing 3.3 amps. Okay, so I have a short circuit in there. Nothing smoking though, is it? And if you actually feel any of those wires, they're not hot. Okay, there's no real heat in them. Okay, this one's a bit tricky to find. I'm going to plug this into my sequencer. Escape out of that for a second. I have got Vixen running here. I normally set up a test string object. Okay, normally let it run out to a universe I'm not using, a set of channels, so I can use this at any time. I'm going to loop that indefinitely. So the idea behind this, and you'll see the lights I've got on over the door there, are showing the colours so you can see what should be occurring. Okay. So, our expert people, where's the faulty pixel? Where would you think? Come on, Steve. Haven't found it yet? This one's a little tricky because, yeah. See how when it's red, it's sort of flickering up there? That would sort of indicate it's up that end.
No, that's normally data being triggered.
Yeah, okay. I purposely did this one on purpose because if I unplug this end, just for a second, there's one of our newbies. Okay. See the one with the cable clip?
Yeah. Black one.
Yep. Just pull it out of the cable clip. Looks pretty charred, doesn't it? Yeah. That's where the short circuit is. Okay. But it's tricky because despite the short circuit being at that end of the string, all the indication is I've got something faulty up that end of the string. Right? Because really what's happening is there's not enough voltage up there for the smart pixel chip to actually be passing code on. Okay? It just doesn't know what it's doing up there. And that's why you're getting different bits between red and green and blue. Now, interestingly, I did put the clip on there for a purpose so I could find it. Okay. Feel the wire? It's warm. Okay. So you can actually feel there's a bit of warmth. Feel the wire itself. Some warmth in the wire. Okay. But just to highlight, even a 5 amp fuse wouldn't have fixed that because it's only drawing 3.3 amps. Okay. So it wouldn't have mattered what the fuse was you had on your board or on your hex fuse. It wouldn't have popped the fuse. This would just be sitting there, not doing stuff. So, and you can actually smell it. Yeah. When I was fault finding this the other night, so I knew what I was doing, I actually cut this. So, as soon as I cut that, bang, bang. We're getting light all the way back down to where our fault is. So all of a sudden, I've got no issue on the rest of the string. We're red, remembering what I said there before, if you've not got enough current or voltage, when you're all white, you're going to get red. Okay? So when we go back to being just red, here we go. It'll ramp up red properly.
You took one of the power wires and cut, data's still going through.
Data's still...
Out from this end.
Yep, well, data's coming from this end and going all the way through, right? And of course, and power from this end as well. So the red, the green and blue individually, there's enough voltage being drawn all the way through there.
That end, you can do them and stop there.
Yes, if I was just to power, yeah, if I unplug power in that end and plug power this end, nothing would work because I've got no power circuit, okay? But that's normally with the cheaper Chinese strings, you're going to get a short circuit from rain, water gets in, moisture gets in, they are going to burn out. It's usually you're looking for a burnt out pixel, okay? Our regulars, would that be your experience over the years? Oh, you're lucky. Dud chips, okay. Dud chips are easy to find because it just stops. And it's usually the one before it stops, isn't it, Steve? Yeah. You always change the one before it, okay? But if you do get a burnout one, that's how you would find it. Questions?
You can say change it out for this current thing.
So basically, this string here, that pixel there was not working.
Yeah.
You'd assume that either the LED on that is busted, or this pixel before it is not passing the data on. So you might as well just go bang bang, take the bang out, and use it.
I wouldn't normally recommend doing this in any way, shape or form because you shouldn't do it. No, it's not powered up. This side's... I got data running down it, so I will do it properly. So I got to fix this one anyway, so... So literally, as Steve was saying, you just cut it out, grab another one from a spare. Normally have a spare string lying around somewhere that you just order in a spare lot. Cut it out, replace it, solder it back in.
I hope it's the same time. RGB or PGR or...
Usually if your spare string you've ordered at the same time will be the same type, okay? All right. So, make sense? Okay. Got a... Sorry?
How did you find that one? You just ended up looking all the way down the black one?
Yeah, I just basically worked my way down. I figured I was looking for a short circuit, so that was reasonably easy to find. I've got some 2811 strip here, and I am going to hook this up for a second, then we can all have lunch. Sorry?
I just had to look for the one that had flames coming out of it.
Well, there's no flames and smoke coming out. It's fine. Hey? Was it yours? Look, it's interesting because I have literally had ones go up in smoke, like, and near flames in the display. Yeah, yep. So you can get that situation, and I had one of our extended family, I guess, was there, and she's wandered over and said, "You got smoke coming from your mega tree." What are you talking about? I looked over and here's this smoke coming up. I very quickly wandered over and disconnected the power. So...
The whole string or just that string?
Just the string. Just the string. It was another one of these strings again.
How many of those strings do you keep spare of for your trees?
I have probably 3 strings at any one time spare. They're 01s. They're 2801s.
Yeah, I've got the same ones. My mega tree is 4 years old.
Yep.
4 seasons is done. It looks much the same still. I think
I think the faulty area is pretty self-explanatory there, don't you?
Actually, you got another one.
Yeah.
Dry solder joint.
Both I think dry solder joints.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that one's probably a dry solder joint. That one is not a dry joint. That one is what I was talking about before. One of the LEDs are green in this case, I think. Yeah.
Probably find out it's still a dry solder.
Yeah, it could be. Could be. That one there is definitely a dry solder joint. Just basically cut the tube, put soldering iron on, and put some shrink wrap back over it with a bit of silicone to make sure it's waterproof. Okay, if you're using it outside. That one there, where that pixel there, I may not even bother chasing whether it's actually a dry joint. This particular strip, I don't have any spares for this strip. But normally you just take, there's a join there and there's a join there on this one. I just cut it out, put another one in.
The resistance die as well for them joint pixel nodes.
Yeah.
It's your colour.
Yeah, I don't know whether that one's dry joint. I've looked at it closely. I just think it's dead. But so yeah.
In strips, I reckon dry joints is actually
Yeah. Now, interestingly, this strip is brand spanking new, never been used. Nope.
I would have said, say, 2 years outside.
Nope. That strip's brand new, but it's also 6 years old.
So it's being chucked out and tested.
I pulled. When did I actually not 6 years old? When was I last down doing the minis? 4 years ago. When did I come through? 4 years ago, was it? 3 years. All right. This particular strip was bought in the previous season. Never used. Thrown in the plastic crate to come around the minis. Travelled around the minis with me last time. It never come out of the crate, and I pulled it back out of the crate to bring around with the minis again after I was using it to test with the Falcon controller. Okay, so it's a bit late to complain to Ray that it's faulty. Okay, but yeah, not hard to fix. Yeah, a couple of dry joints on it, and probably over the years the dry joints are probably not unexpected. So there's 2 practical fault finding exercises.
And so with that, you just take that section out. You can't change the individual pixels.
Nah. Well, you are effectively changing the individual pixel by cutting the section out. Yeah. Yeah, in that case, it's a string of 1 in that particular one. Yeah. So, how are we off for lunch, Andrew? We ready?
Another 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes. All right. So, the snacks were frozen. As some people know that I can talk the leg off an iron pot. So, is there any other questions about actual fault finding? Happy to deal with individual. How do you replace the bits and stuff one-on-one?
I had one about fusing that I come across a couple of weeks ago. Whether it be a J1 sys board or a Pixelite board, they've generally got one main fuse on the power input and then 12, 16 little fuses.
Yep.
I was having a problem where I was just doing some testing at home, so I was hooking up about 6 strings at a time. And when I got to the 6th string, the main fuse would blow all the time. I went through the motions of testing the strings and trying to work out, swapping stuff around like you do to try and backtrack the fault. And it turned out I just had the wrong fuse in the main fuse, so it was actually underrated. So basically, as more strings went onto that controller, more current drew through the whole controller, blew that first main fuse. And that was just a colour thing because you got your reds, you got your orange ones, and I obviously thought it was about a 15 amp fuse when really it was a 5.
Big one,
Yeah.
Is that when you realise you're colourblind?
That's when I realised that I should have actually read what was on the fuse. But, so I'd obviously blow that fuse before doing something else. But, yeah, so it doesn't necessarily mean a fault, but yeah, if you're drawing, well, that is a bit of a fault. If you're drawing extra current through it, it's going to do its job slow.
That's right. That's what. Look, you'll hear me chat a lot and go, well, I don't use fuses and I don't use fuses because I find that normally you get faults that won't blow the fuse anyway, and I'd rather find the fault. I don't necessarily think that's an unsafe situation, but I do support the full use of fuses. So if you are a new person setting up, do take the time to use them because they are going to protect against someone who walks up and actually crushes that power cable. Okay? You do want it to blow in that situation. Okay?
I've killed a P2 by the power supply that I had. Just one of those wall warts, the little 3.5 mil plug on the end. The polarity of that plug was wrong. So I just plugged it in, positives to negative, negatives to positive.
Oh, it's good, as long as you can fry the egg on it. Seems better than what they're doing out there at the moment. No, the sausage was frozen. Sorry?
How long does everybody test their pixels for? I do it for about a week, 24/7. Am I going too overboard or?
I think you're going too overboard.
I do it for about 3 rotations.
Oh, okay.
These strings, because of their age and because they can dry out whilst they're in the garage over the off season, I'll normally fire them up and run them for. Sorry, Ryan, I will move back into shot, mate. Okay. I would normally run these for about 30 or 40 minutes each time, right? And that gives me enough time. I've hung it up, I've plugged in, I've got it out, I'm getting the next one out and setting it up. I might actually run 3 or 4 of these at the same time, right? But I will actually just run them for about that 30 or 40 minutes to make sure that there is actually no latent fault that appears because they've started to actually get power back through them during the off-season. Yeah. Yeah.